What happens when a fiery coal, a cautious bean, and a brave straw leap out of a cooking pot? Join these three unlikely heroes in Asterisk, the straw, the coal, and the bean, for an adventure filled with surprises, laughter, and a heartwarming lesson about friendship.
In a quaint little village, there lived a kind old woman who decided to cook a delicious dish of beans for her supper. Her small, cozy cottage was warm, and a gentle fire crackled merrily on the hearth. "These beans will be perfect for a cold evening," she hummed softly to herself, preparing her meal with care. To help the fire burn brighter and quicker, she reached for a handful of dry, golden straw to add to the flames. The aroma of wood smoke and anticipation filled her humble kitchen. As the old woman carefully emptied the beans into her cooking pot, one little bean, quick as a wink, tumbled out without her noticing. It rolled quietly onto the cool stone floor, coming to rest right beside a long, golden straw. Just a moment later, a burning coal, fiery and energetic, made a daring leap from the hearth, landing with a soft thud near its new companions. The straw, feeling a bit startled, politely asked, "Hello, dear friends. Where do you two come from?" It was a truly unexpected beginning to an adventure. The brave little coal, still twinkling with warmth, replied, "What a fortunate escape I had. I sprang right out of the fire, just in time. If I hadn't used all my strength to get away, I would surely have turned into nothing but ashes." The plump bean nodded, adding, "And I too have escaped with my whole skin, thank goodness. If the kind old woman had put me in her pot, I would have been made into soup without a second thought, just like all my brothers and sisters." They felt a thrilling sense of relief and shared destiny. The golden straw sighed dramatically. "And what about my fate? The old woman has already taken so many of my family, seizing great bundles of them at once for the fire. I was so lucky to slip right through her fingers." Then the coal, with a tiny flick of its ember, asked, "Now that we've all had such a narrow escape, what on earth should we do next?" The wise bean, after a moment of thought, suggested with a knowing wink, "I propose that since we've so fortunately avoided disaster, we should stick together as good companions. Let's embark on an adventure and travel to a foreign land where no one knows us." The exciting idea pleased both the straw and the coal very much, and so the three unlikely friends set out on their journey together, full of dreams of a new life. They skipped and rolled along a sunny path, enjoying their newfound freedom. Soon, however, their adventure brought them to a sparkling little brook that wound its way through a green meadow. There was no bridge or flat stone to step on, and they weren't sure how they would cross the gurgling water. The clever straw suddenly had a brilliant idea and bravely declared, "Don't worry, my friends. I will lay myself straight across the water, and then you can walk over me as if I were a sturdy bridge." The golden straw stretched itself valiantly from one bank to the other, forming a tiny, wobbly bridge. The coal, being naturally quite impetuous and eager, tripped quite boldly onto the newly built bridge, eager to get to the other side. But when she reached the very middle, high above the water, she heard the brook rushing and gurgling right beneath her. A sudden fear gripped the coal, and she stood still, unable to venture another inch. Alas, the straw, weakened by the coal's weight and starting to burn, suddenly broke with a tiny snap right in the middle, falling into the swirling water below. With a tragic hiss, the coal slipped after the straw into the cold water, making a puff of steam, and sadly breathed her last, disappearing beneath the surface. The wise little bean, who had prettily decided to stay safely on the shore, watched these dramatic events unfold. She couldn't help but find the whole situation so utterly comical, despite its tragedy. She began to giggle, and then to laugh so heartily and uncontrollably that she burst right down the middle with a tiny pop. It was a very close call for the poor, laughing bean. Just when it seemed like it was truly all over for the poor, burst Bean, good fortune intervened. An old tailor, a kind-hearted man traveling in search of work, happened to sit down by that very brook to rest his weary feet. His eyes, kind and observant behind his spectacles, spotted the little split bean on the grass. Having a truly compassionate heart, he pulled out his trusty needle and a spool of strong black thread. With gentle, practiced hands, he carefully sewed the bean back together, stitch by careful stitch. The little bean, now whole again, though with a neat black seam down her side, thanked the kind tailor most prettily. She was so grateful for his thoughtful help. From that day forward, because the tailor had used black thread for his stitches, all beans in the world have had that distinctive little black seam. And so the bean lived on, a little different, but much wiser, always remembering the kindness of the tailor and the adventures she shared with her unfortunate friends. It was a story that reminded everyone about quick thinking, friendship, and the unexpected twists of life. This charming tale teaches us an important lesson about working together and being careful. While it's always fun to laugh and be joyful, we must also remember to be considerate of others and the potential consequences of our actions. The bean's laughter, though innocent, led to a little trouble, and the coal's impulsiveness had a sad end too. But the kindness of the tailor shows us that even when things go wrong, there's always an opportunity for compassion and for new beginnings. It teaches us the true value of looking out for one another and cherishing each precious life.
Ever dreamed of being the hero? Now you get to be the star. Your adventure starts at TalesMio. Visit talesmio.com now.